Okay, before I present you about the negligence, I will tell you the introduction of tort law. Tort law is a civil wrong that causes someone to suffer loss or harm, resulting in legal liability for the person who commits the wrong. In tort, the right and obligation are created by the courts applying common law, which has, on the basis of previous authority, fallen into three distinct, which is negligence, nuisance, and trespass. Okay, what is negligence? Negligence is unintentional law that harmful action happen as a mistake. Negligence happen when someone fails to carry out certain standard of conduct. Careless behavior, lack of proper care and attention. Definition of negligence. From the breach of obligation, Winfield and Jolowitz at year 19,071, the breach of a legal duty to take care which result in damage undesired by the defendant to the plaintiff because of unreasonable behavior and harm. Duty of care refer to circumstances and relationship which the law recognizes as giving rise to a legal duty to take care. Defendant being liable to pay damages. Claimant established that the defendant owed a duty of care. The test for this element is a neighbor test. What is neighbor test? Neighbor test is using in personal injury and property damages. Neighbor test is applied by Kin in the cases Donner v. Stevenson in year 19,032. What is neighbor? Neighbor is a person who are so closely and directly affected by my act, and the test for the existence of a duty owed to the plaintiff. Said Lord Atkin, you must take reasonable care to avoid act or omission which you can reasonably foresee would be likely to injure your neighbor. In this case, the requirement is reasonable foresight of harm and a relationship of proximity between defendant and plaintiff. And the consideration courts is fact and circumstances. Breach of duty care exists when one person or company has a duty of care toward another person or company but fails to live up to that standard. Defendant must have broken the duty of care by an act or omission. Person may be liable for negligence in a personal injury. The test that to determine the breach of duty care is reasonable man test. What is reasonable man test? Okay, reasonable man test is an ordinary man who is not expected to have any particular skill unless the defendant is actually one. In the cases, court will examine whether in the given circumstances the defendant had taken such measure as a reasonable man in the circumstances. For the example, at your workplace, breach of duty may occur in your employer. Fail in their responsible and you are injured at your workplace as a result of this negligence. So, for the post case, a breach under duty of care can mean a claim for compensation by the injured person. Okay, this is an example of breach of duty, which the owner of the office have duty of care to make sure that the office is always clean, especially in the public side, as it can be foreseen that their negligence in their service may affect or causing injuries to the client which is never. In this case, the owner of the office did not make sure their office floor is clean and safe before attended by client, causing fall and get injured in his leg. The client can sue owner company for his negligence. Magnitude of risk is the degree of care required varies according to each situation, and this may be a negligent act in another. The law does not demand the same amount of care. There is two elements in this magnitude of risk, which is maybe that injury will be incurred and seriousness the injury that is a risk. Importance of the object to be attained is to balance risk against the consequence of not taking it. For example, we take the cases Davon v. Bathrams. In this case, the issue is, did the defendant's purpose lower the standard of care required? So the Court of Appeal found that converting the left-hand drive vehicles would have been prohibitively difficult and expensive. By providing an ambulance service during wartime, the defendant was acting in public interest, and this value to society mean that there was a lower standard of care required. Okay, the last one is the remoteness of damage. It exists when the plaintiff damage that caused by the defendant breach of the duty and must not be too remote a consequence of it. The damages may be recovered for a particular item of plaintiff lose, and the primary cause of damage or not. Forcibility is a criterion not only for the existence of a duty of care, but also for remoteness of damage. Okay, the answer for the question is A. Bella was negligent. B. To prove that Bella was negligent is the existence of a duty of care to act reasonable owed by Bella to Mr. Sham. Bella owes a duty of care to Mr. Sham, who would forcibly be injured by Bella action. Bella could reasonably foresee that by driving at high speed, especially at a junction, she could collide with Mr. Sham's car, causes injuring. Second one, Bella had breached the duty of care, hence ignoring her duty of care to her legal neighbor, which is Mr. Sham. Bella did not slow down at the junction, which clearly showed that Bella breached the duty of care. And the last one, remoteness of damage to Mr. Sham. To win the lawsuit, Mr. Sham must have suffered injury as a result of Bella's action. The injury might be bodily harm or damage to property such as dented car or monetary loss.